Hi, I'm here with Lilian T. Mehrel, and her film Honeyjoon is screening at AFI Fest. Congratulations on your film. It's really touching and funny too.
Thank you so much. That means the world to me.
Honeyjoon is the story of a mother-daughter trip, but you also described it as being about a balance of light and dark. How did you balance a story about grief and loss and oppression with the humor that comes with familial bonds?
Thank you for seeing that. That's what I do as a storyteller. I love to take audiences on a ride, on a roller coaster ride of laughter and feelings. And to me, it just lent itself very naturally, this film about living with loss, emphasis on living. There's that balance between light and dark. And the characters, they go on this trip for a grief anniversary, but you know how people say like the flip side of grief is love. So there's there's a lot of duality in this film. These two characters, they sort of represent the like yin yang in their approach to living and living with loss. And ultimately, feeling alive means feeling all of it.
I love that. There are moments in the film when June, who's young and attractive, is kind of seeking male attention. But it's her mother who's, attractive but older. She's the one kind of getting more of the attention at some points. Was it important to you, to show that older women can have that appeal as well?
Yes, I love that read. Yes, I think there's something radical about women reclaiming their pleasure, women of all ages, all cultures. And this film embodies that spirit. It's about being alive. It's celebrating being alive. It's celebrating reclaiming pleasure amidst everything. And I wanted to celebrate women's bodies and center women's joy and their pleasure. Ultimately, because it's human joy and pleasure, and because we're all human. We're all alive. We all live with love and loss. We all have a body. And this is a very like body aware film. And one thing I realized after, it premiered at Tribeca this June, and I've been screening it since here and there, now that we're starting our festival circuit. And one thing I realized is when you watch it in a theater and, you're with an audience and all together you're in the dark looking at the light, going through these waves of laughter and feeling and crying and I realized that the themes of the film, which are, the waves of life and light and dark, they're not theoretical anymore. They're embodied. And the experience of watching the film is to have the themes translated into your body. And as you know in the film, there are these sort of body releases and moments that kind of, without giving any spoilers, they're the spectrum of human emotion. So yeah.
Oh, amazing. I love that. And there's some irony, speaking of kind of the body itself, June is, very into showing her body and, which is amazing. And then, her mom who supports women like freedom kind of, has her own views of that sometimes. Is there like how did you kind of want to portray that, contradiction sometimes?
Yes, contradiction is the perfect word. I think contradiction is inherent to being human, like we're full of complexities, and there's that duality again. And I also think contrast is what comedy is about. That's like they're on this beautiful island surrounded by honeymooners, but they're grieving. The mom is like obsessed with woman life freedom and wants women to be free, but she's covering her daughter's bikini body up, and that's just throughout. Those are the absurdities of life that I find both, poetic and meaningful and real and funny.
I love that. And then, the setting of the Azores is so gorgeous and meaningful, in a lot of ways within the film. What made you decide on that location, and were there any challenges, especially with like, dolphins and weather?
Yes, dolphins are wonderful and they're hard to catch, on film and weather. So yes, I was inspired. I this film was inspired by a real trip, real grief, real feelings, but it is fiction and it took on a life of its own. But I wanted to shoot in the place that inspired it, and also to honor the island in the Azores, where you come back to life. And I actually not only wanted to capture the beauty of the nature there, which really is something else, like you said, dolphins, hot springs, it's unbelievable, but also the people. And we actually cast, local people to be all the couples in the film are real couples who live on the island. They're all actually together. All the procession scene, those are all real people. It's a real town that did that procession for, to honor me and in honor for the film. Yeah, and I think there is something also about, I love a travel movie. I love characters, going somewhere because it's taking us, the audience, on a trip too. And it's a reminder that no matter where you go, no matter our different cultures and what seems different on the surface, underneath we're all connected. And as you see, there's this unexpected connection between June and Leela and their tour guide. We all share a long goodbye. There's so many human experiences that it doesn't matter where you're from, what your gender is, what your age is, and that actually has been reflected in the audience response. The audience response has been mind-blowing. We got the Tribeca Audience Award top three. We were at the Mill Valley Film Festival. We just won the Audience Award for U.S. Cinema. The reactions from people, like the laughing, the crying, the people coming up to me and talking to me after, they run the range of, like I said, all ages, all cultures, all genders. And that I find really special because these characters, they take a trip somewhere that they're not from and they've never been, and they find deep, deep connection. And that's the human story.
I love that. As far as like, the feedback you're getting from audiences, is there like a story in particular that stands out for you or an interaction that stands out?
Well, what I've noticed is the way people laugh so fully at the things that we can all relate to, whether they're a kind of like sexy fail or like a human body experience. It's beautiful actually, because these are like these kind of basic things that we all share. But then they also laugh at the sort of like very specific, nuanced, dark humor around like, what's going on in Iran right now, or like they also like feel emotional about, these fictional characters and their person that they lost that has nothing to do with real life for them, but everybody knows what it feels like to love, to lo lose, So I think people coming up to me after, like first, the two experiences that stand in my head are the laughter at those moments. And then when people come up to me after and share the ways that they feel seen or connected to the film, even though they come from completely different stories. And okay, one funny thing is a lot of people will be like, that's not my mom, but that is my mom.
That's amazing. As a daughter and a mother of a daughter, I can appreciate that for sure. Awesome. And Amira Casar, who also starred as a mother of a child struck by love while on vacation in Call Me by Your Name, is that what drew you to her and for the role of Leela?
That is a beautiful coincidence. So when I was casting, I was thinking like, where am I going to find my Leela? But the whole summer, I was watching Call Me by Your Name with my cinematographer as our cinematography reference. And so she was right in front of me the whole time, and then it just clicked. Oh, and I forgot to mention for the last question, about the kind of thing that people come up to me and say after. People love quoting the surfer wisdom lines from João. Um, that's across the board. And yeah, my cast was so amazing. He's a big star in Portugal, José Condessa. He's on this Netflix series that was shot on the same island, and an Almodovar film at Cannes, and just unbelievable. And then Ayden Mayeri, my star who plays June. People have recognized her from, a Paul Feig film or Veep, but then when they see what she can do, that she's fluent in comedy and drama, it's really beautiful. So yeah, the cast was magic and it all just came together serendipitously.
Yeah, they were all amazing and they all just had that chemistry and on all levels, which was great.
Good.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, just I'm happy you felt the chemistry. That's something people say too. They're like, "Ooh, there was chemistry." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Totally.
across like all three of them had dynamics."
Absolutely. And then just lastly, what's next for Honeyjoon?
Oh, you know, I really realized I make films for audiences. I love to connect with audiences. And so sharing it in the theaters as the film festivals have started has been so special and just makes me feel I can't wait to share it all over the world. I want we're going to share it, at Tribeca Lisbon, AFI Fest, and these wonderful, huge festivals with people from all different cultures. Yeah, I just want to take it around the world.